my mic's up. The desktop should be good. Can someone say something to test?
Something to test.
Alright. It looks like we got audio. Hey, champions! Welcome. It is Tuesday. This is episode 78. Not what the title says. It's 77. It is 78. We've got so many topics to go over. And we also have a special guest with us, which is, which corner? That corner? No, that corner. That corner. There we go. That corner. Zoom being all weird. Shahan is joining us. Shahan has been a very active member in the entire Genesis community. Has been just doing so much with the fan server, with the judge team. Has been part of the community. I think we met just shortly before COVID hit as a whole.
Yeah,
and then
at the Atlas Collectibles, again,
Yeah.
shout out to Kitchener Waterloo open house. Matt didn't know I was meeting BCO.
And it was just crazy, during the entire pandemic when we couldn't play, you were still very active in the entire community. So I think this is a great way for you to come meet, talk with everyone who comes and watches this episode, and also for us to celebrate all the awesome things you've done. So thank you, Shahan, for joining us this week.
No, thank you for the kind words.
And I don't know, we don't normally do introductions, so I'm not gonna. All right, we're gonna start the way I don't think we did this last week, but we should be starting at this week more regularly, which is talking about games we've played over the past little while. We always start with Alex. So Alex, kick us off. Tell us about a gameplay experience you've had in the past week or so.
Well, we didn't talk about it last week because half of us had just gone back from Origins.
That's right.
We were just talking about the circuit that had happened.
We talked about a lot of gameplay during that time. Will, are you muted? It's saying we can.
I am now,
All
or
right.
I was.
All right, you're back. Nice.
All right. A few interesting stuff. Been playing a few games on the fan server, facing Damien. Just taught him the lesson that can't go all in with bolt shots at Nubia. And decked himself out.
That's
And
good.
then earlier on in the week, I taught Sid a lesson right here out in the arena as I brought Fang Tigers.
Yeah.
I got pretty good.
It's a thing.
Yeah. That was gonna be my gameplay experience. I'll talk about it in more detail when it gets to my turn.
Yeah.
But Will, enchant us with your stories.
I haven't played much since getting back from Origins, but I was able to play. What was it? I guess last Thursday. And yeah, we just brought the Fang Tigers.
That's the
new
thing.
deck. It's a thing now. It works well.
They're all copying me. That's why.
No, you know, we built it at the same time, separately. But yeah, it's fun. It's it's figuring out, since we've had so long with the card pool, figuring out Fang is, I don't know, probably still second tier ish, but it's definitely an interesting value matchup, right? Where you sort of take your time, utilize your resources to make sure you're controlling or keeping the board at par, and then just hoping that 25 life takes over, or if you're playing the Sacred Grounds version, you get on the Sacred Grounds at the right time and don't move. My problem was that when I got on the Sacred Grounds, we did a deck count, and my opponent's deck was one more card than mine, so I had to get off.
Sucker. Well, I didn't deal with Sacred Grounds when you were playing with it.
Never drew any.
Oh, so you were running them, you just didn't draw them, huh?
It's a low count. It's a if you get it sort of deal. You don't need it, but if you get it, it is interesting.
All right. So for people who are interested in playing with Fong, there you've got a deck to kind of go over and see what you see, something different. Like Fong just doesn't see enough play. I want to say for good reasons because it's Lionel's champion, but no, Fong could be a solid champion. I just think we're missing that right card pool, so it's cool to see that kind of niche play come in. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Shahan. And do you have any stories from the past week of some gameplay?
Unfortunately, not gameplay. Did mostly deck building and stuff, but didn't have time for games in the past week.
Oh.
But I mean, hopefully this week.
Yeah.
Like literally tomorrow, get some games going instead.
Nice.
Nice.
What deck building stuff are you looking at?
So that was, I guess, in Future League. We were building. What were you building? I mean, playing around with, I guess, Phage, and then some of the, like, I guess, Future League champions that hadn't got some love. We were like, okay, what can we do? And then, I don't know, the inevitable slow, like, wait, is this, can we make this more broken? And, and like, wait, is this a combo? Yeah, this is just up the numbers of those two cards. Yeah, okay.
No, I think Future League is essential for the constant growth of this game because it gives the people who truly care about future meta states an opportunity to come back and talk about the unhealthy things that the game could move down and making sure we stop it from going there, but also doubling down on things that you do enjoy about some of those Future League things and being like, we want to see more of this, we want to see more of that, right? So
yeah, absolutely. I will say, like, the combos are always fun the first time they happen, and you find something cool. But it's like you don't want to keep them around. So like, absolutely, they need to be found and then like murdered with extreme prejudice, because like the fun games are the back and forth, not just like, oh, you assembled a couple things and they was really really powerful. So
yeah, and you've been doing that on Wednesday nights, right, Eric? And
yeah,
yourself?
we do like we just. On TTS and then in the Future League Discord server, we just, yeah, if anyone wants to join, we always kind of just like we're chatting while we're building them. If there's new cards or actually spoilers, right? Like spoilers are kind of new cards, right? Because now it's like we're seeing the printed version of like kind of like test cards. So yeah, we're like thinking, how can we adjust decks based on this? And yeah, that's every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And please come out and join us.
yes, I think it's good to have that variety. A lot of people coming in, and also making sure that you foster a community of not just everyone consolidating on the same answers all the time. Being able to have those healthy debates and challenge each other. So. No, I'm excited. I know I see your name come up a lot in Future League, so thank you for that. Yeah, and then my gameplay, as Alex alluded to when we talked about it, was getting decimated by Fong Tigers. A big part of that was I had no idea what to expect, and Fong decks usually are not that good. So I played super conservative. I had like 3 Death's Companions in my hand for the longest time. I just never dropped them because I had no idea what to expect. I was expecting bolt shots. I was expecting, purifying waves or something else, right? I wasn't expecting a bunch of tigers. So I feel like the second game would have gone a little bit different. My big challenge was that I was pressured between 2 meetings. And I was like, at the very beginning, I was like, is this going to be a quick game? And Alex started like making fun of me for trying to get more information before the match started. I'm like, no, I have a meeting.
He won the dice roll, then asked, hey, are you playing a fast deck or a slow deck? What is this?
That wasn't the intention. It wasn't the intention. But no, I still lost. And it's cool to see that happen because that was the first game I lost with that core deck. So it's interesting for me always losing with the deck and trying to see how I can refine my skills. So I look forward to our next matchup. And then the thing
Jeff's calling you out now too.
Yo, Jeff, when's the last time you played against me, huh? The thing that I definitely want to start doing, especially now that we have the office warehouse space, is trying to get some more games in person. It's just been so long because I don't get to go to the LGSs as often as I used to. So playing a few games in person, that's going to be super fun.
Nice.
All right, so we have a bunch of topics to talk about. I want to talk about the production, where we're at with Origins as a product line, and answer any questions that kind of came in from there. So where we're at, I'm actually heading down to the manufacturers tomorrow to see the status of everything, double check the quality of everything, and also there is the part of signing some epic foils to go into the box topper packs. So
Ooh.
I got some fun stuff to do when I'm going down there. It's gonna be a crazy like 1 day trip down to Quebec, but it's gonna be exciting. So that's coming together. A lot of the other side pieces are coming together. The one thing that I'm most concerned about is the coins. They I just don't know when they'll arrive, and I don't want to delay shipping everything else just because the coins are being delayed. So if any piece
Interesting.
of the Kickstarter is a little bit late, I still want to ship out the boxes, the actual like cards sooner, and then ship everything else when they arrive, or if I can bundle them together, ship them out. I don't know. That was my initial thoughts. It doesn't make
Does
sense.
Kickstarter stuff go out separate, like from somewhere else, or did it all come to you first?
So I'm working with different partners in different areas to cover all the different shipping requirements. So I know for Canada, we're going to be able to ship out of the warehouse here. Certain parts of the States, we're going to ship out of the warehouse here, but I have been talking to different partners in different areas to fulfill.
Right.
Because there's packages going everywhere.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Like there's Australia, there's Thailand, there's Hong Kong, there's Germany and UK. So yeah, it's just trying to figure out how to manage all that. But we've been doing a lot of shipping with Patreon, so practice. It's definitely a practice skill at this point.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I think like that's my kind of update. Was there any questions about that? I don't know if there's anything I need to add to that. No.
Nope.
All right. Cool. Moving on to more interesting news. So we are looking at potential other venues for the championship. And I went to a venue today to check it out. And I really liked what I saw. On one hand, it didn't have the same, what do you call that? It didn't have the same catch of like being able to see the waterfront, because the venue I went to wasn't in downtown Toronto, but it was a esports hall for gaming. So it had like the massive stage. It had couches lined up to see the projector screen. And the people who would be playing on the stage would be playing behind the projector screen, which was, an issue from last time.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
It was just like, at any time the person on stage could just be like, oh, that's what they have in their hand. So having the projector screen in front and having all the having the tables at the back, yeah, that was easy access to public transit. Yes, it is actually very, very close to a TTC stop. So one of the subway stops for Toronto. It is, yeah, like at parking, there was a lot of parking, which I'm really excited about. It's free parking too. And there shouldn't be this confusion of walking into the building being like, where do I go from here? So, I like the space. But it really just comes down to, can we get the space for the right price, and will it be can we make a really cool environment? So I want to make sure we can like decorate it, make it look super hype, give you that atmosphere. They have like atmospheric, like they have speakers throughout the entire hall, so you can get atmospheric music going on, which they can control properly and like set the volume and not have it blaring during the entire event.
I will say you had me at couches, because that's just like couches to watch a stream. That's
Yeah.
no, I'm in.
Yeah, they had the leather couches just like a good, like right by the projector screen. But then also they have different lounge areas too. Some with standing tables, some with like little pods of like the couch and the square table in the center type of thing. It was really, really cool. So assuming everything works out and we can get this venue space, then we can start planning everything else around it. So yeah, that was my journey today. It was very, very hot. driving around everywhere.
Yeah.
So is it?
It's a hot day today.
Is it? I kind of missed what area. What area is this venue in?
So this one was in Vaughan. So
Vaughan.
it's a little bit north.
Yeah.
But there is a TTC stop. It's just nearby York University.
Okay.
So there's a good amount of stuff in that area. The parking was a big thing. They also have a cool whatchamacallit, snack bar. And they're like, yeah, we can do nachos and pizza and
What?
drinks and chips. I was like, nice.
We're playing a card game with nachos. It's a disaster. Disaster. Top table.
I mean,
Nom,
the
nom.
pesto chicken sandwich at Nationals last year was really good. So
That's true. That's true. We
I'll
were
say,
saying that
the
like
food's been good so far for all the Nationals I've been to.
that was one thing was like when we actually do the meals, bringing it in and having people get the foods, because if we have everyone go to neighboring restaurants, they'll just get slammed. Those restaurants will get slammed, and that would cause delays. And if we had the booth running it, they can't do quick food. Like their pizza, they have like the crusts ready, but everything else they make from scratch and then put it in the oven and bake it like fresh. And I was like, yeah, that'll take time. You're not gonna be able to feed all the players and everyone in that time. So yeah, I'm liking the space. It just comes on to can we make it look nice? Can we make it epic? I think we can do it. We did a pretty good job last year, right? They had this giant empty wall, and I was like, they're like, you could do this, you could put a mural up, you could do this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, or we could just take a whole bunch of uncut sheets and just like plaster the wall with just a bunch of uncut sheets.
I mean, you did say, can we make the venue epic? So that means like borderless and full art.
Just
Everywhere. All the walls. Yeah, just epics.
Yeah.
Get some Genesis themed music. Get some recording artists in the studio and
Yeah.
You mean the drums?
That's just going on all the time. It's iconic.
Signaling.
It's iconic.
Hopefully someone can just clip that, and now we'll just we'll overlay the tracks on Alex, and that's it. That's the Genesis theme song.
Well, I mean, I think that also could be just like the end of round buzzer. We can just clip that and then like official end of round buzzer for all Genesis tournaments.
Nice.
And put the video up. Just acts as round is over.
There is the person who made all those sounds. He made ones that are increasing tempo. So like as we're getting closer to the 10-minute mark, start increasing the tempo. 5-minute mark a little bit more. At the end, we just have that play out.
All Genesis players become metronomes, whether they liked it or not. And they can just, depending on the rhythm, they know exactly how much time is left on the round.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice?
ZW42 says the epic 1-to-1 scale statues of the champions. We just get like a hall of champions with bus all the way down.
Yeah, that would be intense.
I think Jeff can do that. Jeff does art, right? He can just do a bus. 12 champions. There you go. Make it out of cheese, Jeff. Start now.
Jeez.
I don't think it was at the championship, but that was that one awesome cosplayer who did like the rain. Rain cosplay.
Stevo's. Yeah, Stevo's.
Yeah.
Dreams. Or was that at the championship?
Were they?
No,
Okay,
no,
I
no.
wasn't.
No,
Wasn't
it was
it?
No,
the
I
stream.
don't think it was. Yeah. Okay.
I just showed
Yeah,
up
we
to
should
the
get
store one
Bennett
day.
to come out, yeah.
And Backtuck's dressed up as Rain. It's like
Yeah.
that's
just periodically just teleport behind players and stab them in the back. Just, I don't know, just get them in the Genesis kind of environment.
Just
Full immersion for the championship.
Nice. No, I'm really excited about this, but we still have a bunch of circuits to get through and getting all the players going through that. And then I got one more kind of smaller thing. I saw this show up in the Exploring the Library questions in the Discord, which was how do people connect with the artists? Of course, if you want to connect with the artists, you can reach out to me, Joey. Damyan, I think, is pretty accessible. You can also email him at damyan@hauntedcastlegaming.com. And then, connect with the artists. Let them know how much you appreciate the work they've been doing, because they have been killing it. just a lot of the artwork that's been coming out, it's been very phenomenal. Yeah. So that was it. I think some of the artists have actually joined the fan server as well, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I think Dahlia
Yeah.
showed up, or at least responded, and then, well, Damian's been there for a while. But anyone else that we know of?
I think Marianne just got in there.
Oh, okay.
So we still need Philip and Mario, Mikhail. So there's a few. We'll push for them. Nice. All right. There are a few questions that we want to get to, and then we'll go into the spoilers. So we're good. Good to move on to some of the questions.
Go for it.
All right. Where are they?
They're in topics.
Yes. Okay. So we how's everything going with the add-ons? So we talked about them. So most of the add-ons are either commissioned, done, or in the process of shipping. Most of them are like in one of those states. Okay.
Except the coins. The coins are the only one that's unsure.
So the coins are being shipped. They're done. They're just being shipped over. The game mats are being commissioned. The deck boxes, I think, are either commissioned or done. And then the t-shirts are being commissioned. The cutouts are being commissioned. So some of them are still in the earlier phases. We'll have to kind of work them in waves depending on what we need to get to whom. But we're working on it.
Yeah.
The key is delivering the actual booster boxes. Like, I want to make
Right.
sure once we can deliver those and any other pieces of the Kickstarter, we deliver those as soon as possible, and then we get the other things out there as they're available. But if someone's like, no, hold up, don't ship my boxes, I want to wait until everything gets there in one go, then I guess I'll try to work that out. If that's a request people have, then that's something that
Gift cards now. No, gift cards now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want to get the boxes as soon as possible. All right, so this one, this is more directed towards my interview on the Bone Zone, but we're talking about delays. So I know the delivery date is July, but the vibe I got from Jordan's video was COVID, shipping, staffing are a problem. I've been doing Kickstarters for a while and always expect delays. If HCG knows of a delay, will they announce it early or just ride it out till the end of July and then say something? No, we would say something if something came up.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a major delay that will set us off by a decent amount. There's been some delays that were just like, 4-hour delay. And it's like, those things don't need to be brought up as much. But
Yep.
big ones. We've done this before. When Raze was getting delayed, I put out the announcement to talk about Raze's delay. And then also with a J2 second printing, that had some delays. We've been transparent when there's been delays. It's just the way things are right now.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's been a positive delays. Like our QAs caught that the blades were starting to get a bit dull, so we told them hold on a second.
Yeah.
Get nicer blades.
Yeah.
We want the cards to be good. It's not
Yeah.
it delays this by like a couple days. That's about it.
Yeah. The cool thing is they were working at a point to try to build a little bit of buffer space in case there was issues like this. So they had been working on building in some of those buffer spaces. And then the last one is it too late to address the white edges on the side of the cards like Jordan showed off in his video? Were those test prints? Is it too late to fix with the retail version of Origins, fix the Kickstarter white edges? So, Will, you got to see the actual cards when you were at Origins Game Fair. What was your impression on the
Well, the first thing I noticed was just the feel, right? The thickness and the feel of the cards. And then the other thing that I was checking was because, with J2, there were some things that came up, like issues with the chipping and the cutting on the fronts of the cards. And all the fronts look amazing, right? Like all the fronts look great. Like, you can't really, if you lay it down, couldn't really say, there was any sort of damage that I could recall on the fronts of the cards.
Mhm.
And I mean, the cards feel good, they're thicker, They're not as they sort of snap back like Jordan sort of showed on the on that episode, or on his personal review that he did. I mean, on the backs, I think is where, I mean, I can't recall specifically as being like, oh, look at this line or look at this cut. I did notice that it was just like, you could tell that whichever way the blades were cutting, they were cutting so that it wasn't damaging the front.
Yeah.
It's basically what I noticed. It seems to be very reminiscent of some of like the Japanese cards coming out from like My Hero, Bandai cards are all cut so that the fronts look pristine and perfect, but the backs have like a ridge or like a slight. You can see where the cuts pushed in, right? But as far, again, we're dealing with black cards that have white paper, so
yeah.
I mean, when you look at the side, you're still going to have, because it's thicker now, that's going to be more noticeable as well.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's nothing that was like, oh man, we're going through this again, or oh, I can't believe this is here, right? It's all like, it's great. It looks fantastic from my perspective that I saw. But
yeah. I don't know.
Also, when I sleeve them, they're just in the sleeves, right?
Yeah.
Like, put a card in the sleeves, I don't really ever see it again. So
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I need further questioning because there's been no edge issues that we've seen on any of the prints.
Yeah. Like, one thing that I know I specifically asked while we were there and afterwards is, like, more recently when I got my, they shown me cards coming off the line. It was at the beginning of the print, the cutting, the middle of the cutting, and the end of the cutting, which was really cool to see kind of how that entire process looks. And like the beginning and the end looked the exact same. I was like, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. There's certain, like, just on the molecular level of how these things work the way they do. It's like, it's really interesting stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a constant improvement. It's a constant process of improvement. But I saw significant improvements on my side. I was very happy with it.
Well, it's light and day compared to J2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like everything like cut was like they're all the same cut. There's no differences. There's no obvious there's no like damaging on the front or anything like that. Like it sounds like they look fantastic. So, but
yeah. All right. That kind of does all the housekeeping stuff and the stuff that didn't get Shahan too involved with our conversation. I'm sorry, Shahan. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Happy to be here.
We do have one more small thing, but I think this is also something that Shahan could talk about. So 5.0 rulebook is on the website. This is what's going to go live when Origins is tournament legal. I know, Sean, you've had a pretty deep say in some of the things when it comes to the 5.0 rulebook. I don't know if there's any topics you want to bring up as like kind of a cursory thing right now. Any thoughts about the 5.0 rulebook that you want to share?
I will say there's going to be a pretty significant change with, I guess, the way immediates and triggers work. So right now they kind of use the stack together, but there is going to be a bit of a change on that. So that's worth checking out. But like, don't feel pressure to do it ahead. Like the current rule book is still going to be applied for, I think, 2 circuits more before Origins release. So so like, I mean, take a look. The old one is still up there and is still the law of the land. So to speak. So
and with that too, if you are looking at the rule book and you have questions, it's a great time to throw them up and ask Judge, right? The judges are there and they are supposed to be answering questions. And I mean, I know Shahan is in the fan server and I'm in the fan server. We both sort of go over that and follow along, and I read everything in the Judge server. Like every time there's something, I will read everything. And I may not always respond because I have other judges to practice doing that with. So, but if I do have to, I'll come in or if you have something specifically that you're not sure it's being answered or you want more clarification, then just ping me or ping Shahan. And more communication is definitely helps, right? It's not like, it's still, if it's a discussion, it's great. If we need to move on to a voice chat or something to really work it out, we can make that happen. So
You should probably have them tag, say like, before the question, right? 5.0. So you know it's a 5.0 question.
Yeah.
I should never know.
I think
that's actually a great point.
something
I have
really...
a rules for life question, Alex. Then where do I put that?
You just don't put any number.
Yeah. I think something cool about the 5.0 rulebook is this is one of the more community involved evolutions in the rule state. A lot of it has just been like people giving feedback in different spaces and us taking it internally, digesting it, and then putting out a rule book. With 5.0, I remember seeing a lot of conversations and hearing a lot of topics being brought up. So I'm excited to see that come out, and I'm excited to see how the judges rule on a lot of that stuff. Yeah. All right.
So rules. How do you transition out of this?
Yeah, we're half an hour in, and we have
there we go.
successfully killed all the energy in the room. So let's bring that back up and let's talk about spoiler season.
Well, our usual segments aren't working. We don't have the big green ball behind Alex to see, will it shift or move? We're not on what is Alex eating watch. Well, that's freaky. And so our usual go-to segments aren't here. Alex, you're ruining this whole thing.
Well, let me tell you about our special guest then. Our new guest for the show, Shahan!
Oh, me.
Okay. He's been here the whole time.
Fun times.
Well rehearsed.
Yeah, I know. We're so professional. All right, let's talk about. So, like I mentioned last week, every week we're going to go through 3 of the champions. So this week we're talking about fairies. Yep. Yeah, the fairies, right? I'm not crazy. And then we got 2 new cards that we're going to be talking about. So I'll lead us into talking about the fairies, and then we'll break down each one and talk about our time testing those things. I just need to get my screen ready. So the first one we're talking about is Alta. 23 health, 140 aura, forward awareness, Axon Phage, Swift, Cast, Exert. You deal 1 electric damage to a target in your awareness. And an action, Lightning Surge, Exert, and 6 aura. You deal 2 electric damage to everything on target spot in your awareness, and 1 electric damage to everything on target spot adjacent to the first spot. All right, that's quite a bit. Thoughts? Shahan, thoughts?
I mean, like the large health or aura pool rather there for because I'm always a big fan of summons, so I always love when I see a big aura pool. I'm a big fan. Probably, I mean, as a judge, can't wait for my first like at a competitive tournament. Someone like says they use the lightning surge action and like declare it, and then realize that wait, 1 of that damage has to come back at me because there's nothing around. So I guess I'm hitting something and I'm hitting myself. And anyway, I mean, as part of while we're talking about awareness, I mean that forward awareness on a champion is always like fantastic for kind of control style play. So lots of little things there to love in that package that's just kind of come together.
I'm gonna call you Shahan. I don't know if you actually noticed. Alta's been updated since you played her in Future League. She actually does not need to hit herself here.
Target spot.
Yeah.
Target spot.
Oh, target spot. Oh, that's funny. I mean, that's great for players. My mistake there. I guess just read the new card. Yeah.
So I can definitely say from being part of Ray's Future League and Ray's spoiler season, and now Origins Future League and Origins spoiler season, it's actually exciting because there are changes. There's things that either we weren't told or were done in the back end, or also just the actual names and the actual artwork.
Yeah,
it makes it all that much more exciting to be part of it, because I remember in Ray's I was like, oh yeah, I know what all these cards are. It was all the same card art and everything, or most of it. Sorry, it was the same. But yeah, this is definitely pretty cool.
Yeah. There are definitely little things I want to point out about the art. So this is Mikhail. Mikhail's done quite a few champions. We saw Mikhail do Manat and Kasha. The thing I really like about this piece, I think it was, I don't know if it was Mikhail who thought of it or if Alex like came in with the thought, but the little vials that she has is actually white, green, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that nice little like
The colors
touch
of
to it,
the colors of the card.
Alex, there's a question about lore. You want to add any lore? Here?
Is the question? There's a question, or they want to know the lore?
Alex, what is the lore? What
is the lore? Let's try on the question.
What is lore?
What is lore? So a little generic lore about the fairies themselves.
Shaky cam.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not at my desk, so it's you get wild craziness. So the fairies themselves, an interesting thing about them is you won't find a physical conduit on them. They all have a genetic mutation. So we'll start there. As for the character of Alta, she is ironically a genetic scientist. Specifically, she has taken over the role that another character, Kato, which we haven't seen yet, as headmaster in that section of the school at the academy.
I see. So she has glasses. Are those glasses on and off? Because the other art didn't have the glasses, right? Is that something specific or special, or just unique to this?
The special, I won't go too deep here.
Oh, Lord drop.
If you're allowed, if she's the expert at genetics and changing stuff, there's more than meets the eye to her. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, eyes, glasses. I like it.
I mean, if you're throwing lightning around, I think goggles is just like a good safety, personal protective equipment to have. Like,
it's required PPE.
Yeah, pretty much.
Something I don't think we've touched on with the other art, now that we're seeing both artworks for champions, is that this time around, we want to give each champion 2 different costumes. So like in the past, with some of the champions like Nubia, she's wearing the same dress in both of her artworks. And here, we actually specified, 2 different dresses or clothing styles, whatever. And then when doing other artwork on other cards, there's a specification of which clothing style to use or to alternate them if we're using one too much, giving them a little bit more life.
And where do champions in Jalara buy their clothes?
The market.
Oh, the market. Okay.
So they have an economy. That's in the lore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is in the lore.
It is.
Yeah, we wrote that
Economy
in the blurb.
confirmed.
Go read the
Economy
blurb.
confirmed.
There's the blurb. We talk about the economy and everything.
Yeah. If you actually read the description about Origins, it talks about it. Yeah.
Nice.
This isn't craziness.
Yeah,
Right.
I like this is pretty cool because this one there's so okay. Can we get into the lightning arm or not really?
Yeah. What do you want to talk
So
about?
this one, is she clapping her other lightning hand or not?
She only has one hand.
Okay. The other one's
So
just that
right there.
she conjures the other one or whatever, right? Or makes it.
Yes. It's made out of electricity.
Oh, so it doesn't actually have to be attached to her.
She doesn't. She has one arm.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
I can see that. But does the other?
Now you know how I felt when you used to ask me these type of questions.
These are the big questions.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
what?
so confused
Is
because
that,
I'm thinking about
like-
Will, and Will's like, there's a detachable hand that comes when she's using her electricity. And
I'm looking at the other one. The other one is directly attached. Like there's like a socket, and there's like a ball of lightning that's right sort of stuck on there, and then a bit of like a fingers and some like a bone, right? But this one is just like the hands part looks like it's just there. So I'm just now whatever. Okay, cool.
I mean, maybe that's where the second forward awareness comes from. Is that it actually is the lightning hand can reach further.
Ooh,
Like-
there you go.
I will say that was one of the concepts. Yes.
Nice.
Hey.
Nice.
B. All right. Hey.
And there's a dragon in the background. All right.
There is a dragon in the background. Good catch.
All right. Any last thoughts? Are we good to move on to the next champion?
Actually, I want to go back to that dragon. I don't know if we changed it. It used to be a Zamber dragon. I can't tell anymore.
It's got 6 legs. Yeah, I think you're right, Samber.
All right. We can move on now.
All right. Let's talk about Bazin.
Just the same
Bazin.
dude? Oh, 1 second. Okay. Oh, very different. Okay.
Yes, this is done by Dahlia. This is actually cool thing here about having one of the newer artists come in and actually do a champion piece right off the bat, because we had Damian do all of them originally, then Philip came in. It was always the thing of like gaining that skill set that we know you can produce a champion piece. So Dahlia came in and got the opportunity here to start making some champions. Dahlia and Mikhail. All right, so 19 health, 150 aura, forward awareness, no energy reduction, acts on chaos. Bazin has a water attack of 1, which is swift and exert, and then has reality master at continuous speed. When you beckon a summon, you may place it on any spot around you. There's a lot. It's an intense card. Who wants to share their thoughts first? John? Guest?
Sure.
Sean's our guest.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I'll come in. Yeah, I'll say something wrong, and you guys can correct me. But I mean, one of my favorite, champions I've had a chance to play around with in Future League. The diagonal summoning on diagonals is just so huge. Like, and it feels like the more you play, the more like kind of like it really changes how what you can do in the game, because like something on a diagonal, really at any point in the game, it's like there's a degree of like it's not putting something too far out, but it is one still like it's close enough that you can still kind of protect it, but it's fundamentally one space closer, and like a summon starting one place close to your opponent is huge. So yeah, big fan. And there's like some fun little like combo interactions, which I don't know if we want to say them now.
Oh, I'll say
like,
mine.
With their original card pool. Oh yeah, and then there's Will card, which is
so
kind of nuts. This guy.
Yeah, geez, this guy with so if you saw the spoiler from I guess my Saturday stream was Emergent Worm, so you can actually thank Alex for connecting Bazin and the Emergent Worm together. So lots of fun happening there. But my big one is we finally get to abuse the Necrolich Alim interaction.
That was that was the big one.
So this will be probably one of the first decks I build, is because you can beckon the Necrolich on the diagonal, the Necrolich can then bring the Alim back to your adjacent spot, which then allows the breakthrough to happen. And for someone who loves synergy and has played Commander and other games where synergy is a big component to the games, I'm really excited to see. I don't know how well it's going to do, but I'm excited to build it, and I will probably always play it.
All right, and then there is Resurrect with us.
Yes, there is the Resurrect.
It's a big thing.
The missing piece.
Yeah, where you can, so you fulfill the clause of something dying in the arena, and then when you put Resurrect back on the spot, it can go onto the spot where that thing died, but because of Bazin's ability, it can also go into one of the 8 spots around you. So now those Resurrect summons have 9 spots they can be beckoned onto, and you can actually beckon them safely. Because a lot of the times you get something like Casmodon, you're like, I can finally play it, but if I play it where something's died, it'll just die itself. It's in the middle of combat. And so I'm excited about that because Casmodon needs to see play. It's such a good card. It's such a good card. It needs to see more play. Yeah, and Chrono Walker on angles.
Yeah, Chrono Walker on angles is nice.
Yes. No, that is I think like the 6 chi slot is like kind of like really full. Like Bazin's like spoiled
Lots
for
of
choice.
tools.
Yeah, lots of tools there.
We'll have to see the 19 health though. That's still going to be the thing that keeps it in check, right? Because I mean, 19 health. We've had 19, 18 health champions that just can't really push it. But if we know anything, if we've learned anything with the core controls archetype, it runs very heavy in the aura. So having more aura in those same colors and that ability to beckon in certain spots, it should be interesting. Because basically, like Kendra, you have to basically ignore Kendra's Nurm ability if you want to run that control style deck, unless you get in real close. But it's so dangerous because of the lower health. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's the thing that holds him back. Because, like, being able to beckon on an angle doesn't mean anything if you always have to stay so far away that you can't take advantage of those movements right away. So, yeah, it's definitely a champion that I have some fear about it coming into meta and how it changes. But
We need more summoners in meta.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plant my flag in the sand there. I want more summoners at championships and
All right.
circuits.
And are we good to move to the last champion of
Yeah,
the
'cause
night?
I don't think we
You
know.
don't
what-
want, you don't want to hear lore? No
Oh,
lore?
no lore?
Ooh,
No,
No one asked.
No
Alex,
ask?
you're
Oh,
supposed to-
They don't want to hear lore. All
how
No.
did Bozin discover Diagnos? That's what I want to know. So yeah.
It's like, wait. Whoa!
Whoa, oh my god.
People,
You can look
people.
partially left and right. You don't just have to, you don't just like, you can just like stop halfway through. That's weird. Man.
So
I don't know.
Mason has unlocked. He's generally the smartest guy in the room. Now, not necessarily because of his studying or anything like that, but his mutation is literally psychic powers. Yeah. So you'll see a lot of this depicted on the cards. You've already seen a mind reading and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's the
he
same
sees
guy,
world-
too.
See the world much differently than everybody else
Man.
does.
Yes.
As for his main lore in the story, the elves are obsessed with order, so they asked the Academy, hey, can you guys categorize every possible mutation a animal can do? So this guy here, right, Bazin, takes two animals, slams them together, and creates crazy creatures, and I think some of those have been shown as well.
Yeah. My initial vision for him, and I don't know how much it's changed or stayed the same over the lore, but I had the idea of Mr. Sinister from Age of Apocalypse. If you ever
Now
read
you're
that.
spoiling the next storyline. Pete. No, he's a good guy. Ignore that. Ignore what Sid said.
No, he's not bad at all.
Just the idea of like combining all the mutations. That's what he did, right? Like I like that idea.
Do we know what these creatures aren't spoiled? Are these just creatures? Or these?
There's one
Yeah,
that
the
got
one we can
spoiled.
point to that we've seen
Spoiled
already?
yet.
The
Neither of those have
the
been
three
spoiled.
chi.
All right.
No, they're talking about the ones on the art. The ones on the art.
Oh,
I do
okay,
not think
yeah.
Have been spoiled yet.
None of those.
No,
have been spoiled?
neither of those have been spoiled.
They're
Okay.
coming.
All right. Are we good to move on to the next
We're
champion?
good to move on. Yeah.
All
See,
right.
there's no complex questions about where body parts are in this one. It's just move on. We can just move on easily.
Kareem.
Oh, what is this?
20 health, 115 aura, 2 energy reduction, forward awareness, Axon Thymos, action heavy attack 3 for the exert, and then swift readjust discard a card and 8 aura. You lose your current awareness and gain the awareness with the discarded card. If the discarded card is a summon, then you gain all abilities from that summon this round. So, few things to break apart here.
All ability.
All abilities.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, Sean, start us off.
Sure. No, I mean this is like such a fun and also scary champion. It's like, when we're talking about like like abilities that are scary if they're on a champion, even temporarily. I mean, I think there's one that's going to be foremost in everyone's mind, which is Ariel, which. I mean, get your Vada Sphinxes now, I guess. Yeah. If you're looking for those, and of course, Pixie, which has already been spoiled, I believe, with that tiny
Named
ability.
Pari.
Pari. Sorry,
Yeah.
Pari. Yes. But it's just such a mind warping ability, that readjust. Like just like the possibilities are endless. It feels, and it's like. It's also kind of interesting because with Genesis being a finite resource game, like gaining all abilities, like I mean attack abilities are like the obvious one. We went straight to the continuous and weird stuff because we're weird people. But I mean the attack one, because we've got an action speed attack on on this champion. So getting access to Swift by discarding a card, and then again a finite resource game. I mean, fundamentally, when everyone's like really low on resources, like say you're down to your last 16, Kareen can like discard those summons which you had early game. That but like now you're low on aura, and like your summoners, like if you're a summoner, you're like, I don't have enough aura for these awesome creatures, but then you can just like steal the ability of the creature for one turn, get a swift speed attack, get some damage in. There's just a really interesting resource calculation like just goes into this player. This is the kind of one, like, because if you're playing TCGs, like maybe someone you follow posts a deck and they're doing really well with it, and then you play it and you're just trash because they're a good player and you're not, and it's just like I feel they'll
why
be
doesn't
like,
it work?
Yeah, why doesn't it work? Why are they winning? Why did they beat me with the same deck? So
not
like,
a
this
champion
is really
I would
one where
demo
I
the
think,
game with.
yeah, and maybe not the best one to demo the game with, bro, for sure. No, not maybe. Yeah, not a good one for a starter deck. But yeah, it's just like I think competitive players will probably really love this one. I think from the perspective of you can really show your chops, like show your grasp of the game with this guy. But I mean, I've talked for a bit. I'm gonna let other people talk.
Yeah, I think this one feels. This is the first champion that feels sort of can lean into that kind of like toolbox archetype, where basically you're going to have a bunch of things in your hand and you're just going to sort of, oh, what do I need in this situation? Okay, let's go to this, let's do this, etc. Right? And because if you lose your current awareness and gain the awareness of the discarded card, that just means that it changes the awareness. You can still do your heavy attack now with that bigger awareness. So if you drop for whatever reason you don't want to pay the tsunami, you could now hit 3 damage in tsunami's awareness to something. So that's even outside of just the discarding a card and that's a summon and gaining abilities from the summon, right? Like just dropping things that you don't need in the moment to get 3 damage in, or to get, maybe you're discarding 2 cards and you're getting an awareness and you're gaining abilities, right? Like the options are pretty intense. Yeah. Just remember the last card you drop is the awareness you get.
Yeah. Side topic a little bit. I just wanted to point out something Jeff's saying in the chat. Jeff literally pitched Allies, the format Allies. So that is a format that we played, in 2018? 2019, I want to say 2019 actually. We did play that on and off, and then just haven't really seen it so much recently, but it's a fun update. I don't know if I was reading the chat, I don't know if we made this explicit, but the whole idea that like the spells you discard, you get the awareness permanently. Another one that it really excites me is Stone Protector. And just being able to swift relocate, like that's.
I think that's a trap, and I've seen many people try to use it.
Yeah.
Because you lose your awareness.
You lose your awareness,
and you have no awareness.
Can't move.
Yeah, and you need to have a second card to back it up right away.
You have to go, do a second one afterwards.
This is a champion, as you said. It has been a trap for like the nuance to it is so high, and it's.
The skill ceiling is just like
it's so intense, because every deck I've tried for it has just failed miserably. I've not been able to make a successful green deck, but it's one of those champions that also welcomes you to try different things, a lot more than some of the other champions, where they get streamlined. Here it's like all of a sudden all your summons are these additional tools that you can use. Alex, I know you play tested this champion quite a bit. Any tips you want to add?
No, I think we got the basics there. You have the options. You're gonna have your creatures that will allow you to be defensive, and you have your spells that you can now utilize to gain great awarenesses.
Yeah.
What Alex isn't saying is the number of changes this card has gone under is a lot, because I know a lot of decks that I built and some other people built had to heavily adjust what the text says. This was probably the text that was under the most scrutiny for the longest period of time. And I am happy with the way that things have portrayed. And other summons that have or have not been spoiled, their text had to be adjusted because of Kirin's text.
Yeah.
So it was good because it just really starts showing you, as we get some of these very powerful effects, that we need to be very specific in what we're saying on the cards. So.
Yeah. I think a big thing for me was realizing when all of a sudden triggers that you expect to only happen once can now go trigger off multiple times with Korean.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment.
Yeah, I know. I remember that deck. I hated that deck.
All right. Lore, Alex.
Nobody asked for lore. I don't think they want it. Okay.
All right. Well, we got lots of body parts here.
Be quick about it. So we could talk about these mutations, but it just sounds like it's great to be an elf. You get these cool mutations. No, that's not the case. Sorry, fairies. Fairies. Yeah, I meant fairies. That is not the case. In fact, a lot of the fairies do not live to be middle age. A lot of the mutations just kill them right off. That's why there's a very low fairy population. So Kirin actually had one of these very fatal diseases. So her family essentially just sent her to the academy to be an experiment. Being like, go at it. Maybe you can save her. Maybe you cannot. Essentially what would happen is, think of your body that would mutate. If somebody was to bruise you, your body would go, oh, I've been injured. You know what doesn't? If I turn it to solid stone, then I won't get injured anymore. That's what the body would do with this type of mutation. If your arm turns to solid stone, you're gonna die. You're just not gonna live through that. It's such a shock. So these people with this specific mutation would have to be pretty much held in captivity, and even the littlest thing could set them off. So she was the first one that Kato's experiment fixed. And they fixed her, and then she was herself being able to control her ability to manipulate and change her physical form. But that did not mean the Academy wanted to get rid of her. They essentially wanted to keep her for experiments. Lucky for her, Satir of the military came in for one of the came into the Academy to see if there was new tools for the military to get. And Kirin found her. Luckily, had a chat with her, being like, "Hey, look how great a weapon I can be." And she got out that way because the military is a higher rank in the Academy.
Interesting.
Lore.
Intense.
Lore.
Nice.
Um,
Do we, I don't know, like if we're looking at the art, do we know what summons, like is there a little, any Kirin is turning into? Are there specific ones?
There is.
There
I
is?
don't think any of those
No,
have been
they
spoiled
haven't.
either.
Useless.
Killing me here.
What? Sid, what are you looking at? What's off the screen there?
fun stuff.
Share with the class.
Oh no.
Um,
I need to cause an earthquake that can knock the camera over to see everything. So yeah, that was mentioned, I think, in chat, was that there is a third
Yes.
second alternate art for Korean.
have we not shown that?
I think it was shown in the posters during the campaign.
That's right. It was.
For the Kickstarter, but that is also.
All right. Stick around to the end. I'll show it then.
All right.
All right. The next two spoilers, Shahan's gonna reveal, but the Bellum one, we need Alex's help to pronounce it.
That never happens in Genesis. That never happens.
Alex, how do you pronounce this?
Oh, we're starting with the Belmont? I can't
Yeah.
see your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Bellum.
starting with Sionage.
All right, Shahan.
Sio-
Sionage.
All right. Okay, let me take. I mean, so the first thing that like jumps at is the backwards awareness, right? Like it doesn't show up a lot. So anytime you see that, you gotta stand up and pay attention. And then if we're looking at, I guess, the abilities here, so we got a swift toss, very low cost, 2 energy. I mean, so like a lot of chambers just like, wait, there's the cost to this? Like what? And then yeah, like you get to something like someone's coming up for that backstab, looking at you, Rain. And then you're like, no, you're not. And then like it's interesting. We've got like a reverse rampage toss. Is this? Because like when you get to move someone, you deal the 2 damage to them instead of what we're familiar with rampage toss, where I damage someone and then I get to toss them. This is where I toss someone and then I get to damage them. I know it's just there's a
Very close. It's reverse shoulder throw.
Yes.
Oh, shoulder throw. Okay.
So this is actually just straight up the replacement for shoulder throw. The biggest issue was shoulder throw is rarely used, and in most of the situations where you'd want to use it, aka an angel teleports behind you, you couldn't target them because it was the basic attack to grab them and throw them. So we wanted to give this one specific tool an ability to use against the things that actually get behind you.
Yeah, this is strong because you do the toss first, so you're protecting yourself, and you get some chip damage in because it's not an attack; it's an execute. So, and you can still place them around you, right? So
yeah. No, around is a lot of spaces. It's like probably like 10 or something. Like there's a lot of spaces and around.
You also get the opportunity because the execute is a trigger that goes onto the stack, so whoever you're tossing can respond before that trigger resolves. So if you have a summon behind you, your own summon who has only 2 health remaining, you can toss it in front of you and have its attack resolve before the execute goes through, and it dies. So if you need to get that extra damage in. Why are we getting spammed? That's so weird. We've been getting spammed in the chat. So yeah, this I like the idea that shoulder throw is coming back. Bellum always had that advantage where, like, when I teach people the game, I say, all right, if you're coming to someone's front, they'll be able to defend it, but their sides and their back are practically like they can't defend those sides. So you want to either flank them or come in from the rear. Bellum has that option to now deal with people who are coming in from the back. So it's really the sides that are kind of exposed still, but we got side steps. You can deke things out. But yeah. Cool.
People are asking,
this is a great card.
Is the summon spoiled or not yet?
The summon's not spoiled, but you did see it on the Satyr art last week.
Yes.
Ooh, it's the same one as okay.
All right.
Nice.
Cool. Any other thoughts we want to bring in here before we go to the next card?
Let's move on in. We are running late.
Yes, that's true. We are running quite late.
We're over time.
All right. Go, Sean.
All right. I mean, so I can say I remember when this had a lot more than 1 HP, and it was quickly changed to 1 HP.
Yeah.
But no, like this is like, I mean, this is just such a solid card, right? Like 5 energy, like it's it's asking something of you. It's not completely free, and then like cannot leave this spot. Is like so much, like maybe with movement being such a big part of counterplay. This really does step in and have like a kind of a free way to have a little, like, you know, being energy based, have that little bit of the counterplay in a new kind of, not just like you move and then I have to have a movement in like the same direction to try and, you know, like maybe match up or something like that, or try and just go for a damage spell. Like, you know, like, so okay, I give up the first damage technique or spell I used, and then you moved in response, and I'll have another one as backup. Snare is kind of in the opposite direction, where it's like, it's almost like the higher the stack kind of gets built with like playing powder cane, and then if the snare is the last thing you play, you can be like, by the way, all my earlier stuff is gonna hit you now. And yeah, no, just a solid, like, reasonably costed, like on both ends, like it's not too cheap and it's not too expensive counterplay card, which is like I'm always here for.
Just gonna break this down in case someone can't actually see the screen. So it's 1 health, 4 energy, Thymos card called Snare, Swift, Trap at 5 energy, so it's placed onto an occupied spot. It has a continuous effect that champions and summons cannot leave this spot. And it has a trigger of decay, so at the end of the round, it loses 1 health, but it only has 1 health, so it just gets destroyed at the end of the round. All right.
I like the key. The key to me, though, is that it says champions and summons, right? It's not targeting something. It's actually just like, so when the Stone Protector and the Angel go to relocate and you play this, they both stay, right? Nothing is moving. Teleport. Counterplay to teleport, I think, is big here. if you get your opponent surrounded and they try to, leave, or with the right number of turn advantage, you can basically hold them in that spot. And you can't. So other traps you can leave and hit the trap to destroy the trigger. Right? We've seen that before, right? Where you can kill something to stop the trigger from happening. But this one you can't leave, and leave is a much stronger word than move, place, and switch, because that leave ties all three of those together.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, leave everything that would cause a spot change is pretty much covered by leave.
Yeah.
This is this actually has counterplay to decoy, right? Like that's something that the game really hasn't seen a solid counterplay to. So Chrono Walker, and the crazy thing is, like, if champion plays it, Chrono Walker goes onto the stack, Chrono Walker's placed, decoys on the stack, and your spawn snare is dropped where the champion is, then the champion can't leave spot, but Chrono Walker comes onto the spot, right? So like they're both still there. So now you can do fun things like bolt drop both of them.
Yep. Oh, finally.
Alex, you're quiet.
No, it's good. Let's give
Thanks,
you the lore.
Alex.
She's hunting rabbits.
Yeah, Mikhail.
I actually wanted to shout out the art there, because I love the use of light in this art. Like it feels like really subtle, but then it's doing so much. Like you can clearly tell like the sun's low in the sky. I don't know, maybe this is like, it's either early morning or I guess sunset or sunrise. Maybe just kind of get some dinner or breakfast. One of the two. But
this is Essa?
I love the art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yesa. Yesa?
Yes.
Essa? Yesa?
Okay, there it is.
Confusa? Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
sorry. Yeah.
This is definitely one of the cards I'm most excited about when it comes to Origins. It's I think it just has so much solid play throughout the entire game, but it shuts down a lot of those rock OTK decks. And I'm very happy to see that happen. All right, and to wrap things up, I did say we'll show the final form of the early bird promo. And there it is up on the screen. So this is your third art for Kareen. Just amazing. I love the color for it. I didn't show this to the rest of the team, so yay!
Yay!
Look at that art.
So lore for that. That's actually beginning of next.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, I think that's cover it. We do have some final announcements as we kind of wrap things up. All right, fan servers running a tournament this Saturday. Sean, details quickly.
Sure, yeah. Let me just pop over so I've got them in front of me, because the prize pool for this free entry tournament is actually really, really sweet. So yeah, let's say so it's like the return of like the monthly end of like the fan server. Back in the day, we were holding end of the month kind of competitive events for our competitive players. So that is this Saturday. Yeah, I'll go blast through it as fast as I can. It's free. It will be a geo-sanctioned tournament. Sign-up link is already up in all the relevant spaces, but we've got like posts in the official Facebook group as well as on in the fan server. Everyone who comes out is getting an organized play promo pack. Like they'll be mailed to you. Everyone. Like you just need to show up. We'll be playing on Coliseum of Fate, made by the awesome Wasim. And then first place prize is a foil organized play promo and an anniversary pro, and you get to join Dex and Drafts live stream on I guess it'd be Monday the 27th to spoil a card with them. Like that's a prize for this tournament. Like whoever comes first, like scheduling allowing, is going to get to join a content creator for a stream, and then like give that first reaction to a card, which is like, I think that's awesome. So
yeah. Awesome. So all that is in the fan server. So if you're part of the fan server, join that. If you're not, go to genesisboc.com, and at the top there's the link for the fan server. And Will, do you want to talk about Future League tournaments? tonight?
Yeah, so we've got a Future League event tonight. That'll be happening in about 15 to 20 minutes or so once we wrap this up. But the bigger one is on Sunday. We're actually going to open it up to not be at the later times, but sort of during the middle of the day on Sunday. We're doing a best of 3 tournament where you have to build 2 decks, bring 2 different champions, 2 decks, and then you have to win with both in a best of 3 match. So once you win with one, you switch the other one, and vice versa. Your opponent does. It's an interesting format, especially with Future League cards, because you get to see a whole bunch of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We have Future League prizing, Future League champions getting handed out, and also like a very rare, I believe it's Malfeasance Misprint card is also top prize for that one. So those are not easy to get. So that's going to be a fun one as well. So again, free. Everyone who shows up gets an OP pack. And yeah, that's on Sunday.
All right. Thank you. Join servers, join tournament, have fun, and that's everything for tonight. Shahan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see everyone next week. Later.
Bye.
Bye.